First of all, let's talk about what the strut is.
What is the strut, Dad?
This is the strut right here. It consists of this spring. It's a very stout, sturdy spring. And then you can see the silver part right here goes into this section down here, which is the shock. So basically a strut is a combination of this spring and the shock. Two bolts right here that are holding it at the bottom. And then we have a bolt here. And then also we have 3 bolts that hold it at the top. You can see this one here. There's one further back right there. And then a third one that you actually can't see because this plastic cover is in the way. So that'll have to be removed. What we want to do first, we need to move this hose out of the way because as you can see, it is attached to our strut. So we're going to grab a hold of this clip and pull it out. Now that that's out of the way, this basically just is loose from its anchor now. This wire goes to the ABS sensor and it's attached here on this side of the strut. Rubber grommet holding it in place. There's that side. And then the same thing on this side. Alright, so that one's loose as well. The next thing we're going to do is loosen this bolt and nut right here. This bolt is attached to this rod. This rod goes down and attaches to what's called a stabilizer bar. This stabilizer bar has a lot of pressure on it. So when I loosen this bar is going to want to go up, which is going to cause this bolt right here to start pointing down. So what we're going to do in order to keep that from happening, because it makes it really difficult to get this nut off of this bolt, we're going to take a clamp, put it in here. We're going to go underneath set the top part on top of this right here. That's actually the top of the stabilizer bar. So we're going to clamp that together so that it doesn't move. This is an 18 millimeter nut, and the backside you actually have to have a 19 millimeter to hold it still, to hold the bolt still. So I'm going to hold the 19 millimeter on the back, and then start. We wound up spraying it with some lubricant so that it would come off easier. You can see that this is loose. If I was to let go of this clamp, the end of this bolt would dip down and it would be wedged in there. So you need to take the strain off of that, take the pressure off by using a clamp. So now we can pull that out of the way. Remember last time we were replacing the wheel bearing and we had to take the cotter pin out?
I remember.
Okay. We got to do that again. Take your big wire cutters, get it straight and work it out of the hole. There you go. All right. Phoebe, this is called the axle nut. We've dealt with this bad boy before.
Right.
When we replaced the wheel bearing. We also talked about how this is the end of the axle. This is what turns everything from the transmission. Back here you can see the axle, and it goes straight into the transmission and comes out through the wheel bearing and through the rotor here and this big axle nut is what holds it on. So we talked about also that if we just start turning on this nut, it's going to turn the axle too. If it's too much pressure, then it will damage the inside of the transmission. So we want to hold everything still. Now, there's a couple of ways to do that. Last time we had Ellie, who isn't here today, step on the brake and hold the rotor still. But today, what I'm going to do is take a screwdriver, put it in that little hole in the edge of the rotor to hold it in place. And that's all there is to it.
Easy peasy.
And then the next thing we're going to do is take these two bolts out. We'll go ahead and spray these to make them that much easier to come off.
Okay.
All right, we need to take these two bolts right here out. If I don't hold the head of the bolt still, the whole thing
it all
will
just
turn.
moves back and forth.
Yeah, and that is really annoying. It makes you want to throw stuff. This is why your dad's always angry.
If you're ever wondering, why is Dad in such a bad mood?
Yeah,
Because of crap like this.
because of crap like this. Something just doesn't want to work right.
One.
And you know what? Dad will get over it.
Dad will get over it. His dad is a strong, confident man that isn't insecure.
That's right. So now we got the nuts off of the bolts, and we're gonna pop them out with a hammer.
Easy peasy.
Now, going back to the axle and why we took that nut off of there, we have to get all of this whole thing away from the strut. So now you can see that it's loose. So we need to be able to have a lot of play, and it helps that this is loose to be able to have more play. We have everything loose from the strut. The only thing we lack is the 3 bolts up top underneath the hood that's holding it in place. We're going to have to move this cowling out of the way. This is just a long plastic piece that fits underneath the windshield wipers. All this has to come out of the way so we can get to one of those bolts. We're going to have to take the windshield wiper off. And under here we'll find the nut that's holding on the windshield wiper, that particular one. And we need a 14 millimeter socket to take it off. Next, what we have to do is wiggle the windshield wiper arm. Just keep wiggling it until it starts to come loose. Get something on this side to help.
Sucker's in there.
And there's the windshield wiper.
Just Phoebe popping in to let you know that even if you are a young adult, you can also do it too. It's quite simple. It literally took no effort.
Yeah.
There's that. We're going to need the 14.
Yep.
Yep.
May take a little bit of effort to get it to break loose. Don't damage your knuckles.
Or anything else.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to warn you about. It'll give way. That's good. That's
Okay.
good. Now you should be able to take it off with your fingers.
All right.
All right.
Cool.
All right. Thanks, Deebs. Now I'll get this one loose just like we did the other. There it goes.
Nearly there.
It's coming off. All right.
Ta-da.
All right. We have all these little clips that we need to take out in order to get the cowling to get out of the way. Here's one right here. You just kind of take it and pop it up, and then the whole thing comes out. There's two, and then we have one back here by the hood hinge, and there are some under here as well. Since we've already done the passenger side, this section of the cowling does not have to come off, only the driver's side. But I have to get this little clip right here out of the way so that I can.
It looks like that one kind of like holds the two together in the middle.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, this one lays over the top of this one, so it's got to come out.
That whole piece should do.
And this whole piece comes right off.
Excellent.
All right, next we have the tube that goes to the windshield washer fluid. Pull that tube off of there. Just like that.
Perfect.
So we'll set this out of the way.
Dang, it's yucky under there.
Well, since it's off, we can go ahead and clean it up a little bit.
Okay.
Might as well. We will do that, and we'll be right back. If you look down in there and you can see the bolt head right there,
Yes.
that's what we needed to get to.
Okay.
So including that one and these two right here, these are what we're going to take off next. 13. Incidentally, a 13 millimeter is about the same as a 1/2 inch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's something you can remember. Make sure we're going in the right direction here. We don't want to bust our knuckles. All right, before I take it all the way out, I'm actually going to leave it threaded in some. So when we take the other two out, the whole strut doesn't just fall to the ground.
That'd be bad. That'd be really bad.
All right, next I'm going to do the bolt that's underneath where the cowling was, down in there. All right, we got the socket on that bolt, and we're going to start loosening it up. Let me see if I can get my fingers on it and pull it out. There we go.
Yay! Perfect.
And then we have one more right back there. Man, that dude is hard. This is advanced mechanics here. That's how to get more leverage. All right, it's good and loose now. We still have this front one threaded in a little bit so that it's not going to fall. But I'll reach in here and get my fingers on that other one and get it the rest of the way out. All right, there's two. I'm going to reach down under here, hold on to the strut while I pull this one out. I've got it loose from up top. Now I'm going to work it out of the position that it's in.
Ta-da!
And that's what it looks like.